We talked about having a God-centered company, and you have a God-centered mission.
Yes, this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. When somebody asks me, what is my keys to success, or how is it that I've come to this stage in my life? And my success story, if I can say that, starts from living in poverty, Section 8 housing, ghetto housing at one point, been through rape, been through an attack, robbery, been stabbed, humiliation, stroke, marital affair, cancer scare. So some of these are my special sauces that have made my life. So when you reach a certain stage in your life, in our 40s, I have enough to eat now, being in business, being in medicine, but I've come to a stage where I'm looking for impact, some meaning, something my daughter would be proud to see that I'm doing, what is going to be my mark on humanity and planet Earth. And so I'm at that stage, that flux of life where I want to do more than just make a buck or feel important, right?
Welcome to Vision and Voice Podcast today. I'm your host, Glenn Fetzner, and today's guest is Dr. Raj Kumar. Hope I said that right.
Yes.
So today, there's many projects you're involved in. I want to talk about some of the projects you're doing with us at My Living Media. But first and foremost, you run a group of 200 doctors called the United Doctors of America. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What's your why behind that? And the floor is yours. Let's hear your vision for that.
Sure. First of all, Glenn, glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This is something that's very near and dear to my heart. Let me answer your why first. So when somebody asks me, what is my keys to success, or how is it that I've come to this stage in my life? And my success story, if I can say that, starts from living in poverty, Section 8 housing, ghetto housing at one point, been through rape, been through an attack, robbery, been stabbed, humiliation, stroke, marital affair, cancer scare. So some of these are my special sauces that have made my life. So when you reach a certain stage in your life, in our 40s, I have enough to eat now, being in business, being in medicine, but I've come to a stage where I'm looking for impact, some meaning, something my daughter would be proud to see that I'm doing, what is going to be my mark on humanity and planet Earth. And so I'm at that stage, that flux of life where I want to do more than just make a buck or feel important, right? So that drove me to starting this organization through some folks in Washington, D.C. on the conservative end. They wanted to mobilize the medical community. We're a group of, as physicians and just leaders of medicine of all type. These are a population made up of good IQ, hardworking individuals, good income brackets, creations of jobs, tax paying, so on and so forth. So how do we sort of coalesce this kind of talent into one place at one time and do some good out of it? So hence, United Doctors of America was born. I have been serving as chairman now for almost a year, and our consortium, as we like to call ourselves, has a network of 200 physicians around the United States of America. My great gift, my home. And so with that, what is our mission? So I'm a patient, I'm a doctor, just like many of us, right? We're all patients in some form or another. So we are the voice of the provider and the patient. Provider being any medical professional, nurse, doctor, physician assistant, what have you. And then patients. If you're a human being, you're part of the conversation for now, right? The robots haven't taken over yet.
So when you say voice of the provider, like I was at that event for Cleveland Clinic last night.
Okay.
Would you help Cleveland Clinic reach the patient? Would you be
That's
bridge
part
the
of it.
gap?
That's part of it. And I'll elaborate on that. We have sat with Cleveland Clinic, HCA, Tenet Hospital, just some of the big boys and girls around our country.
Yes.
So maybe if you don't mind, I'll elaborate kind of what is our mission, and then I can kind of share how we've integrated with other leaders in the healthcare arena. I think what makes us unique, first and foremost, is we're not riddled. Our executive board is not riddled with a bunch of arrogant doctors. We are difficult people. We've got big egos on our shoulders, and sometimes we get in our own way as a result. I'm a member of many medical associations, and the boards and the members are all MDs and DOs, and that doesn't always solve healthcare. So our team is made up of physicians, nurses, pastors, attorneys, business owners. We have a billionaire. We have all kinds of individuals.
All in United Doctors of America.
Correct. As our board, our leadership.
Board, okay.
I'm just one of many.
And you're chairman.
Correct.
Chairman of the board.
Right.
I love that title for
Okay.
you.
Oh gosh.
Can I
It's
interject
just
just
a piece of paper.
well, and you're so humble.
Oh,
You know, I know you don't talk about where you went. So I know you went to
wow.
Harvard, you have a law degree, you became a practicing physician, and now you're a businessman running this United Doctors of America. I don't, you know, we met, one of the things that I love about our story meeting, you know, we met at Patrick Bet David's
Yes.
facility in Fort Lauderdale,
Right.
kind of randomly through Mario Aguilar, and then midday, and then you didn't leave till that night after dinner, and we knew at that point that we would be right here today because
Yeah. I
God
know.
didn't bring, I know, right? He brought everyone in this room,
Huh.
God brought here.
I believe.
When I think of that, you know, we talked about having a God-centered company, and you have a God-centered mission,
Yes.
which is exciting to hear. And then I hear, you know, we're still getting to know each other, right? We were just at an event together with Brian Mast, and that was great. And you're very well connected. I've never seen anyone work a room like you. It's amazing. From Glenn
Okay.
Beck
Oh, my
to
goodness.
Brian Mast, you call everyone by their first name, and it's amazing. And hearing your story about some of the pain you've gone through, you know, I didn't know that until right now.
I know.
And so
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. You're very open, and you know, we've all been through something. You said upstairs you were looking at our gratitude and our vision for the company, and you know, you reminded me of that. I forget. Like I'm thinking you have the perfect life. He went to Harvard, he's a lawyer, he's a doctor, handsome, you know, all that good stuff. Red shoes. Oh, you got the red shoes on again.
I
That
do have
is
the red shoes, my
hilarious.
friend.
So
I'm a little quirky. All right.
but I love that about you.
Okay.
And I didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't know that part. You've been through so much.
Yeah.
Please keep going.
Yeah. No. Thank you, Glenn. Oh, you're such a gem of a human being.
Thank you.
You know, so listen, the way I look at life is, and there's so many other people who carry greater crucibles and tragedies than my own, but you either make a choice of you run in that corner and you die, or you take those as life lessons and you build from there. And, you know, good people like you, my daughter, family, friends, they're the ones who fuel you to sort of hopefully inspire or lead by example in different ways. And I'm always learning and growing and failing left and right still, you know, and that's the necessary ingredient to any success, right?
Yes.
So coming back to our wonderful organization, our team, United Doctors of America, we've been making some nice impact. And this is what I realized because I've had a lot of great physicians and really nurses who have trained me, guided me on my path.
Yes.
And I started realizing that we're not going to solve healthcare by ourselves. We need people stronger, faster, smarter, and even sometimes more humble than our medical community.
Yes.
So that is why we put together a team, a board that is still growing of different diversified folks who have different solutions. Now, there's 3 areas that we work on, the trifecta, like I like to call it. Maybe there's a religious component in there in and of itself, perhaps. So we push for healthcare reform, healthcare transparency, and healthcare wellness. So what does it all look like? So reform could be something like, let's reduce the cost of medications. Let's increase the number of medical professionals in our glorious United States of America. For example, we have a shortage of 170,000 physicians to date right here, right now. And nurses are not that far behind.
Why is
we are aging, our chronic disease is growing. We need the care, and the robots and AI and tech can only do so much for the time being. So that's one arena we're pushing.
Just so I get
please,
this,
sure.
reform,
transparency, and wellness.
And wellness.
Right.
And you're on reform right now.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank
So
you.
reform is one caveat. So, and I'll tell you something creative we're doing because people come to me and say, oh, reform means you've got to get all these senators and all these congressmen, and some of them are such wonderful human beings and friends to me. They got to get in a room at the same time in the same place and make the votes and change legislation. That is not practical. My hair is going to be gray by that.
Yeah, it's not.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to work. So we've come up with some solutions outside of that. Healthcare transparency. Especially since the inception of our most recent pandemic, right? The COVID pandemic of 2020, there's been a lot of trust issues with the healthcare world, right? Be it the doctor, the nurse, the hospital systems. I can go on and on. I was in the COVID units. 5 people in my own family died from it. Vicious. And so many people, 2 of my colleagues also died. Yeah, no, thank you. So many people lost in so many different ways. But we also gained and learned, I believe. So we want to help resurrect the faith that used to happen between the patient and the provider in the days of old. And if you go back to the Greeks and even the Romans and those times of life, the physician or the shaman or the witch doctor on some level, the medical leader had several roles. In the beginning of humanity, they decided the sewage system, what the huts look like, and they gave medical care. Fast forward later on, they became the house call doctor. They served you in the home, but then they were a mayor of the town and the part-time handyman, right?
Yeah.
So their roles kept advancing and changing. And now today in our modern world, the doctor is someone you see in the office, if you can even get into the office. Now it's so short-lived. Somebody is typing on a computer with their back to you and asking you about your medical history, and you're out of the room in 3 to 4 minutes. I mean, this is not good. Eventually it's going to be, one little Dr. Raj leading 10 robot doctors. That's where we're
Yeah, I
going.
think
Like
you're
the
right.
self-checkout
Yeah.
in your Walmarts and your Home Depots and all of that, right? There's one attendant managing 10 self-checkouts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so transparency, we need to change. We need to make a little more trust of information and relationships with the patient and just the healthcare paradigm at large. So that's the second agenda we have in our organization. Thirdly, wellness. And I had the blessed opportunity to sit with two of the Rockefeller family members on a lovely yacht at 2 a.m, and somebody was inebriated and talked about commercialized medicine. So
That's where that's your stage half the time, frankly.
so
Yes.
I'll be respectful to some privacy of that
I-
conversation. But
You don't drink very, but frankly, I've been
Yeah.
with you. You're a very moderate drinker, but you're
I'm a lightweight. That's the problem. I don't have the liver enzymes, you know?
well, you're all like at all the event. Well, you're at those events, right? So I
yes.
had a friend called it
Right.
the rubber chicken circuit,
I
basically,
got it. Okay.
to some
Fair.
degree, but you go to Mar-a-Lago a lot. The food's fantastic.
Yes,
But yeah,
yeah.
but no, that's your wheelhouse. So how
You,
did it,
you have to, because sometimes these are a way to touch the leaders and also make a presence about what you're doing. So going to the president's residence speaks louder than me standing inside of a restaurant and talking to somebody, right?
for sure?
So because the whole idea is you want impact. It's not about just having a fancy night,
Yeah.
because even those things can be tiring. But how can the message be better packaged so
Yes.
results show from it, right? It helps people.
One of the things I would say when we went to the event here in St. Lucie County, you're like, Glenn, I have to introduce you. You always grab me when we're together
Yeah.
and you introduce. Here's the mayor. Here's
Boom.
the
Yeah,
chief
the county commissioners,
and then
reps,
Brian Mast
congressmen.
is here. You
Yeah,
made sure
yeah.
Brian. I happen to know Brian a little bit, but it was great. But that's how you do make an impact. But
No,
keep going.
it
I
is.
interrupted.
No,
So
go
for
for
the
it.
wellness,
That's repetition, getting in front of the right people, because it's twofold. Yes, they might be in a position of decision making and power, but two, they also have a responsibility to us. We are electing a rented seat in any one of their positions. Don't forget that. The seat remains, the person keeps changing.
you forget. I forget. I do
Yeah.
forget that.
These are our servant leaders. So
Wow, you're
they
right
have a
about that.
responsibility to receive us as much as we have a responsibility to respect them. It's twofold. It's like a marriage. Make no mistake about that, right?
It is. Sometimes you forget because they
You
are
do.
on TV.
You do.
They're this guy's a senator or a congressman.
Money and power corrupt. Yeah, it can
Yeah.
happen. And then sometimes you're just so busy and so lost. I said it myself, and I'm putting myself in the conversation as an MD. We get arrogant. We get difficult. We think we're sometimes privileged in society, and we misbehave with those tools irresponsibly at times. But we do a lot of good too.
Oh, for sure. Being a doctor, especially going to Ivy League schools, you've earned the respect. I think we want to respect, but I think I understand you're very
Yeah.
humble.
I have my days. You're too kind. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that with you. No, but I mean, no, but I think, anyhow. So I think you're very humble.
No, I appreciate it. Just life has slapped me a few times, so it reminds me, and it's good. We need that sometimes, right?
Yes, for
So
sure.
the last piece of the puzzle I was sharing of our trifecta mission is wellness. So we want to take the pill popping commercialized medicine that I know and so many others and fuse that with the old ways of medicine. I'm an Indian boy, immigrant brown
Yeah.
boy over here. I was raised around Ayurvedic medicine with my aunties and my grandmothers, right? So
What was that?
Ayurvedic medicine.
Can you spell that for
Okay.
me?
Ayurvedic. Ayurvedic. So you heard
Okay.
of turmeric?
Yes.
Turmeric. Yeah. You can find it in your wonderful retailer at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens. Did I do a nice plug there? All right.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So Ayurvedic medicine has such antioxidants like turmeric, right? I'm no specialist here, so I'm not the expert, but in India, it's in the toothpaste, it's in the makeup, it's in the food. And in today's modern day world, let's say on the United States front, you find it in little capsules, you find it in liquids. People use it in cooking. Saffron is also there.
Yeah.
I remember my friend Brian Mast, our chairman and congressman, he asked me one day, Rod, someone gave me saffron. What do I do with it? You eat it. I mean, you can decorate too, in weddings. People will put it sometimes on the hand with henna. It's decoration. It can be put on clothing. So it can be used for art on some level, but typically it's used to be ingested. So we want to fuse that commercialized medicine with what we call now wellness. Wellness is now this trigger term, this special word like AI. So that's holistic medicine. That is alternative, regenerative.
Traditional doctor, they don't entertain that. I mean,
Well,
especially with, I hate to say with
right,
COVID.
right.
And just to circle back with the trust on the reform and the trust coming back, I think you said that. My, we have close friends, people that are close to me, where we feel their parents took the vaccine and ended up getting cancer from it.
Right.
No, we can't prove it, but it's such a rare form of cancer that only showed up after the vaccine. So it's a pretty big uphill battle where people had trust. They took it.
Yeah.
Being honest. I mean, I don't know if this part we might have to cut out, but it's.
No. It's a dicey topic, but it needs to be addressed. I don't disagree with you.
Proven per se,
Right.
but it's very rare and,
No, sure.
Yeah.
So this much I'll say. I'm not an expert in all of these.
Allegedly.
We have
allegedly.
right. We have a wonderful team, and there's so many great gurus out there. But I say this much and I'll circle back on the vaccines. In the days of old where, we had the herbs and we had the midwives and even putting brandy on the gums of children.
Sure.
Let's not do that. But when they're teething, right?
Yeah.
It worked. We survived without smartphones. We survived without motor vehicles. We survived without computers. I'm not saying that we should remove those items, but we survived. Now we have an introduction of all of these new services, let's call it, and we are progressing and maybe regressing at the same time. So with that being said, something is happening that is not good. Chronic disease is outlandish in the United States of America compared to other countries. 20% of children are running through obesity today.
Yes.
1 in 6 parents are taking kids to fast food restaurants all the time because of convenience and taste. We're spending more than $4 trillion right now on servicing those diseases, and we have a shortage of providers. We've got a population that deals with highly processed foods that are high sugar content.
Yes.
But then our population is made up of low muscle and high fat people. We're looking for a recipe for disaster.
Yes. I think we're living.
Your brakes and rotors are going on the car. It's screaming and shouting and screeching at you. Eventually, something is going to go bad. There's going to be a car accident.
Yeah.
So we're not paying attention to those signs. So I think if we could be a source as United Doctors of America, USAUDA.com, we could actually maybe either advise and or create protocols, or I'll talk about the kind of groups and individuals.
That website again? Can you?
No, sure. Sorry. Shameless plug. Okay.
No, please
Thank you. USA. UDA.
UDA.com.
Right. United Doctors of America. Right.
United Doctors of America. And this will give us everything that we're talking about now, but in more depth.
Some of it, much of it, because some things were in the process. Like we're creating a wellness panel of some, very dignitary type of individuals to help sort of start promoting and blending what healthcare might need. Like what our wonderful secretary, Robert Kennedy Jr. is doing.
That's a perfect segue. So you're working with MAHA, right?
So
what does MAHA stand for?
Okay, sure. So we met with MAHA, Make America Healthy Again.
Okay.
It is an organization that has existed for some time. I can just sort of give you a shortened, abridged version. But basically, they are looking into the healthcare world from the standpoint of, let's call it our external influences. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Meaning like food, soil, air, overall environment and lifestyle habits. Not necessarily medications and what the physician is doing, even though that is going to cross their purview every day.
Is that Robert Kennedy?
So he is behind that movement along with other great people. Del Tree is another fellow.
Met with him or are meeting with him?
I will be, but I have not met him yet. Correct. Right.
Yes.
Right. So what I like what he's done, our secretary, first and foremost, I mean, when was the last time you even heard the name or knew the person who was running the Health and Human Services Department?
Never.
Right?
Never.
I mean, Secretary Kennedy has become as popular as our vice president, for instance, right? So it means there's something right happening.
Yes.
Right? He could be either famous or infamous, but I'll go with famous. And, he's an environmental attorney. So I'll be very frank. I mean, if he hears me, he may slap me, but he's a big tough guy. He can do a lot of pull-ups. But yes, I went to law school, medical school, business school. I'm not an attorney, but what I will say is that when I heard an attorney is fighting for the people, an attorney is fighting for healthcare,
Sure.
I'll be honest, I was like, this doesn't sound right. There's a reason we have a lot of attorney jokes in law school. Yeah, I have a lot of attorney friends. What's going on here? Is there another agenda? Does he know what he's talking about? And then fast forward, I got out of my own way, out of my own ignorance, right? My own arrogance and my own ignorance, right? Both as an MD and just a human being. And I'm seeing what wonders he's doing. He is making medicine sexy again, is the way I look at it. He's created a platform where it's safe, where it's notable, where it's encouraging physicians, patients, and anybody across humanity to get up there on their soapbox and talk about healthcare. And that's the first game that needs to be done, the dialogue and the education, the awareness that goes with it. So first and foremost, he's succeeded better than all the doctors. He's succeeded better than all the healthcare system. Yeah, but you don't have to. Listen, Glenn, the world we're in, you're an entrepreneur too. You create your cabinet. You create your advisors. You don't need to be of that profession to be glorious, right?
True statement. It's hard to...
People forget this, though.
You're right.
So he didn't know nothing about even where the nucleus of the cell is. I don't care. It doesn't make him unqualified.
Funny
but he's
story.
brought it to the table. 100%. Finally, better than anybody.
Blue because of him.
See?
So I don't know if you're, what's your, not to go here, but.
Oh boy.
That's probably not.
Just went there, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, go ahead.
All right,
no, but
I know. Methylene blue.
He does alternative.
Right.
Yes.
Ivermectin, I know. Hydroxychloroquine, I know where you're going. The problem is I don't know enough to speak well on these subjects. I could come back and do my homework. And
I was just curious.
No, I appreciate it. Get us a bottle of tequila. We'll go all day.
Yeah,
here.
I'm taking all kinds of supplements. So yes,
of course. But so the way I look at it, even when I talk to my counterpoints, my physicians within our team, or just friends and colleagues, because even in my private business as an executive physician, we consult with physicians and their medical practices and all that. And sometimes doctors will say, Kennedy is not a doctor, or I don't like that he's attacking vaccines, or, he's going to put me out of business. And I said, hold the phone for a second. I'm a minority. I'm an Indian. I'm brown. I'm an immigrant. And the way I look at it is, if there's an issue that, as an example, let's say I was a woman even, right? If there's an issue that touches a woman or a minority or a white American or a bus driver, it can relate to you, right? Based on maybe your background, socioeconomics, demographics, blah, blah, blah. So I say this, hey, he's creating a platform for you to get up off your butt, Mr. Lazy, arrogant doctor. Sorry. And I'm in that conversation too sometimes.
We can't say that, but you can.
I can.
Yes.
And my friends attack me for it, but then they also applaud me for it because it just needs to be done. Get up there and speak your piece. You may not agree with him, but he's created a beautiful stage for you to step on. You get to gain those residual benefits of the stage that he's created. Whether you're the hero of the story or not, at least you get to go up there. Whereas before, nobody would listen to you, right?
It's true.
That's the mistake that happened in COVID, two-part. One, many countries, including the US, didn't ship the problem off to the medical world, right? You want to bake a cake for your mom. My mom is going through chemo, so this is so important to me. You want to bake a cake for your mom's birthday, you go to the baker. You don't go to the mechanic. We had a medical science issue, and it went to the big companies and the politicians instead of the medical experts. And even the MDs are not the medical experts. It's really our PhDs who create the science of it all. So that was the first mistake. But then number two,
you're talking about the vaccines, and
right?
How they were
correct. The cure to the problem, right?
Got it. Yep.
And on the other side, let's talk microphones. Did enough of the doctors and the nurses and the medical providers find that microphone and get on the stage? We have to take some accountability for it too. That's a little bit of our mistake.
But the ones that did,
yes, there are repercussions.
They paid a heavy price.
So guess what? Women can buy land today. Everybody can vote at a certain age.
Sure.
You can drink. You can have businesses. How did all that happen? People died, and there were revolutions. Yeah. Someone did not give up the seat of the back of the bus in order for civil rights to move forward, right? Rosa Parks. All these stories have transgressed across all forms of human civilization of every continent on this globe. Why should it suddenly be different for us as the medical community? Are we so special that we shouldn't go through some of the pains in order to make our cause known? Of course it must.
I agree.
So this is what I'm saying when I talk to colleagues today. Get on the microphone now. Kennedy is giving you a path. You don't have to agree with him.
Yeah.
Whether it's vaccines or Tylenol or whatever else is on the road. But at least now you can get up there, right? Build it and they will come, the famous line.
Shameless plug for My Living Media.
Please.
This is a perfect entrance for the Dr. Raj show. And so we're going to tie, of course, your podcast, Dr.
Uh,
Raj, into that article, and you can write whatever you want.
That's so exciting. Wonderful.
It's kind of like a Dear Abby for the older listeners and readers, or reoccurring article tied with your new media, and it's all part of our ecosystem. You can really, you're so passionate, and with your background as a doctor, being a doctor has credibility, and you can use that title to be the change in this world you want to see, right?
And if I may, because I don't like to leave a question unanswered, like our board exams, with regard to the vaccines, I do agree with some, and I don't always agree with all.
If we can segue into, we have a couple topics today. There's Haiti, housing, and wellness. I think we probably covered wellness, but let's start with Haiti and your affiliation with that and how you're helping change the world.
So Haiti, oh boy, much to say on this topic. Haiti, a country to the south of us, just on the outskirts of Cuba, which is just on the underside of Florida as part of the United States of America, is a glorious nation. It was the first country to have slaves produce an independence for a country in the Caribbean and really across the globe in 1804. We can't remember that history. So what a trailblazer, what a marker that is, like we saw with the Emancipation Proclamation under the rule of, under the presidency of Abraham Lincoln. So it's a big piece of our American history and our international history, if I can say that. So I think that's very notable, right? We got to remember our roots, remember where we are today.
I know on the Dominican Republic, there was a violent revolution, frankly.
Correct. Yep. So, and you said it. So that island, previously sort of called Hispaniola, is shared between Haiti on the west and the Dominican Republic on the right side of the island, almost split half and half in a way. But it's not that far from us.
It is not.
We have a lot of travel that comes out of the United States, particularly Florida, Miami, Florida, to that wonderful island nation.
It's a beautiful island.
It is. And so, people asked, why is Haiti important to me? And I'll explain how United Doctors of America have come into this. I have a lot of Haitian friends. Doctors, nurses, attorneys, business owners here in the United States. And, my roots do come from India. I wasn't born here. I became a citizen when I was a teenager in the United States. And U.S. citizenship is number 3 on my resume to this day. Like, I have a lot of pride and respect because it's been a gift for me and my child and my family and my dear ones. So I don't forget that. That's most notable to me.
You're an American success story. You're the American dream.
I don't even know what that means, but
it means you're living. Well, you know what it means.
Well, this is the brochure that brings so many of us to this blessed country, right? So we have to maintain that because that American dream qualification or terminology or brochure is starting to look very different.
It is. We forget, second, third, fourth generation Americans forget. Yes. What our parents sacrificed to get here. I'm of German descent.
Yes.
And I didn't know how German. Both sides of my family came. We found the boat they came around in like the 1870s, 1860s.
See?
So, and
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And they spoke German. My great-great-grandparents spoke fluent German, didn't speak English. And I wish I would have written more of it down. But I always look
There's so many great stories, Glenn. Mark Cuban, I got to sit down with him for about 3 hours. Billionaire, Shark Tank judge, owner of a big basketball team, Dallas Mavericks at one point. His family is originally Jewish, went through some persecution.
Wow.
Coming to the U.S., they changed their name. And then they carried on life. I mean, many people have done that from many nations around the world, not just Indians and others. So it is, it is a real story. That's why we're the melting pot. What is an American? An American is a bit of everything.
I have Indian. I have Indian. American Indian in me.
See, okay.
And so, not enough to get any money though.
Oh my God, you're terrible.
But we were from my mother's side came down. French Canadian came down there. They're trappers and all that stuff. That we had an ice farm, or they'd cut ice, keep it in barns, and then because for ice boxes.
Yes, I understand.
1890s, turn of the century before electric was there. Anyhow,
that was a preservative, unlike salt and so many other things today.
Yes,
so, I get it.
But I love the Mark Cuban, and it doesn't shock me. You know Mark Cuban. That doesn't shock me at all.
I wouldn't say I know him. Well, I got to text with him once on a project. And I got to meet him in person at a separate time too, through a common connection.
And not to name drop, but I know you have. You've been working, Tony Robbins through work a little bit.
The organization. Not him so much. Right. I know you got to actually meet him. Yeah. So that's something I should mention with our group, United Doctors of America. Serving in this role as chairman and our industrious team, we've sat with Make America Healthy Again, MAHA, Department of Health and Human Services, people there. We've sat with the American Medical Association. Actually, the former national president of the American Medical Association is on our board. He loves what we're doing. We have met with the Baldwin family. You know, I get to text with some of them, the actors, directors out of Hollywood, the Tony Robbins organization. We're talking with the Patrick Bet-David, a good immigrant, his organization.
You remind me of Patrick Bet-David. Both of you guys are first generation Americans, and you give our country a great name. You know, and it's our country now,
Glenn.
right?
It is. But it's all of us united.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody is not an immigrant is the way I look at it with America. And that is, I would like to say, maybe the backbone, the infrastructure, you know, small businesses, if you will, are that, you know, stability or foundation of so much of our economy in the country. Correct.
A dentist or a restaurant.
Yep.
Home construction.
That's why people come here, isn't it? That's why we all came here on some level, that opportunity. You can do the same in maybe another country and it just won't fly as it can here.
Not as, right. A free market system.
There you go.
They set it up, they set it up for you to fail and not go to debtor's prison. I think people forget that.
Yes,
you know,
I know.
Failure is not real. It's just experience. It's one way not to do it.
Correct.
And they set it up so we could take a chance, take a risk. And then maybe you do have to declare bankruptcy. And some people have. They've fallen out of the sky, and you can then start over again, and only in America.
Yeah.
It really is the
beauty.
The shining city on the hill, right?
Right.
But you have to believe.
Yes.
If you believe, like you have, like Patrick Bet-David, you can do it.
Yeah. Well, the country inspires. Yeah. Remember, we forget that. What a gift. You know, my daughter was born here. She takes certain things for granted. Yeah. I look at it like I have a special membership that nobody knows about. Like, that's what I feel sometimes, right?
I love it.
And my daughter's like, oh, it's like oxygen. U.S. citizenship? Oh, that just came in the package.
You know,
so it's just funny where the mindset is. But we shouldn't look at it like that. We take it for granted. And we do have a glorious nation.
You're right.
But we have to preserve it.
Yes.
Every great empire has typically a shelf life of 250 years. The Greeks, the Romans, the English, go down the history line.
We're at 250. We're in the 250th anniversary of America.
Correct.
Wow.
Which does worry me because we've had a little bit of an exodus, you know, an exit of wealth and talent from the United States already abroad.
Yeah.
But that is just a wake-up call that we have more to do.
That's the visas and the different things. And
that's one thing. But then there are literally U.S. citizens who are moving wealth. And talented folks who have already left to go abroad, or they're already setting up shop somewhere else concurrently, waiting to see the tides.
They're not sure.
Right.
Was with last night. I think they have a place in Bermuda. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't like that.
No.
One, I'm a very loyal human being. That like the adjective, the label I look for in anybody. But that's something that we need to maybe develop a little more with regard to where we're going.
If we can keep, we got sidetracked. Let's hear about Haiti.
Yes. So I've told you a little bit about Haiti's beginnings and why is it relevant? Because I know the Haitian people personally. So I'm intrigued about what's happening in the country. So right now what's happening in the country is it is being ruled by gangs. And when I say gangs, in my Indian culture, we call them gundas. Even in parts of India, we have these gangs, these gundas. Mafioso, you know, you can call it something like this perhaps. Yes. So these gangs are ruling the countryside. And what does that mean? There's such a huge, just last year, 2025, more than 9,000 people were killed. 1.5 million people were displaced, including 750,000 children, because there's kidnapping, there's trafficking, there's human trafficking, drugs, rape, theft, just human degradation, the standard of living, everything is just rot in poverty, and it's so sad because there's such a capability.
Crystal's from Haiti. You met upstairs.
Yes.
Accounting department.
Okay, see?
And she was there during the earthquake.
Which one? 2010, 2016?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think 2016 lost family members.
Yeah, see?
She's the hardest worker. Yeah. One of the hardest in the building.
Beautiful. Yeah, that
loyal
work ethic. Yes. I understand.
She's a Christian.
Yep. It's a beautiful culture, Glenn. There's culture, there's music, there's dance, there's education, there's family values. It very much resonates with our American people.
How did Haiti end up there? So it's basically a broken state right now.
Partially so. So I think, as I understand some of the history, so 1804 was the independence at a time where, let's change our filter for a minute, right? How we see the world. At a time where there was great slavery around the world, not just the United States. And so what happened then thereafter, the French asked Haiti to pay in the equivalent of today tens of billions of dollars, be like boy, in reparations because they said, you have now freed all these slaves from who we made money from in some capacity or another, and you owe us that debt. So Haiti had to pay all of this money back in
Which
those
kept
days,
them
right? And then
poverty
there was colonization from other sources, including the U.S., Spain, et cetera, over the years. And part of the history was sort of beaten up, or if you don't mind me saying, prostituted and used. I mean, parts of India went through
Yes.
that. I mean, I don't know if you know, but in the 1700s and even not so far in the 1980s, Haiti used to provide 60% of the world's sugar and 40% of coffee. That's notable. These are two huge
Wow.
staples around the globe.
What year was that? What year?
1700s and 1980s.
Okay.
They had these great resources. I mean, even now, Haiti has a number of great resources. So what has happened now is in 2021, the president at that time was assassinated in his own home. He was killed in his own home. His wife actually survived. A bunch of gangs, militants came into their home and shot them terribly with, automatic rifles, so on and so forth. So he died. President Moise, Jovenel Moise. He was killed. Wife survived. I think she's in Miami now. She did all kinds of, interviews and all afterwards. I mean, my goodness, so brave she is.
Wow.
And then from there, it never could stabilize. And I don't think that's because of the Haitian people. It's because of everybody else who either came and took their resources or tried to take political control, a little bit of infighting. And fast forward to where we are today, how this has even come across our desk as United Doctors of America. There is two thoughts that are on the table. One, our Secretary Marco Rubio, former senator and now cabinet member to our wonderful President Trump, he has, with no uncertain terms, told the Haitian government, the current parties, you need to leave. And then number two,
they're not elected.
Right.
Okay.
They're not.
just okay.
Right.
Okay.
At least not by the U.S. or other parties. And really, there was supposed to be elections, but I may not get into the nitty gritty of it. But yes, correct. And then what's happened now, aside from that, the U.S. has threatened military intervention. Like, we're going to come in and start shooting if you don't leave. So now what's happened through some common connections of mine and friends, knowing the Haitian community, there is a gentleman who is ready to take on, through proper democratic elections, the role of the soon-to-be or future Prime Minister of Haiti. And he is a physician in Florida, a primary care doctor, entrepreneur, family man married with children here in the United States, and he holds dual citizenship in Haiti and in the United States, Dr. Raymond Pierre.
Thank you. I've met Dr. Raymond.
Okay, yes.
We met at Mar-a-Lago, I think, originally.
I've met him a few times. You recently met him at the gala I brought you to.
Yes.
That was
and
him,
he was
the
also,
taller
the
gentleman.
first time I met him was at the PragerU event.
Yes, that's right.
Can I-
That's right. And he came through my dear friend, Dr. Rod Joseph.
Yes, who I love.
Right. He's a PhD, future congressman, entrepreneur.
We need to
Purple
have
Heart
him on
Army
your
man.
show,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, he's full of life. He's a good man. Grounded.
Very nice gentleman,
Yeah.
very humble.
He's done work with the Ministry of Health in Haiti, so he's still connected and grounded to Haiti, which is nice.
And so he will be one day possibly president of Haiti.
God willing. And so what we've done in that capacity, so he's come across our desk because, we work in the political spectrum too, in pushing for healthcare. We talk with senators and congressmen and mayors and state representatives and all of that. So parties came to us for those political meetings. But then number two, he's in healthcare. He's a physician.
Yeah.
And so, he speaks the same language as we do. So we're supporting him for this cause. And so we've spoken with Senator Rick Scott. We've had meetings with Congressman Byron Donalds, future governor of Florida. Congressman Ryan Mass has been so helpful in this space.
Love it.
So that's the avenue that we're going down. Nothing has been set yet, but creating these relationships and these meetings, you want the U.S. to sanction the new person. So there's two caveats to this story that need to get done. One, the U.S. needs to be able to intervene on some level and push out the old regime, right? Be it in a warning and or on the ground attack.
Well, Marco Rubio, he's involved. I mean,
it's a big deal.
That is a big
deal. And he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's a law student from University of Miami in our backyard. I know people who taught with him in all of this.
I can't. Is he a UF Gator or a Hurricane?
Well,
I can't
he's
tell.
probably a Hurricane. University of Miami. Yeah, that's schools. Right. But he's represented the American people, the Latin people. He's done a hell of a job.
He
as
really
a senator. And now look where he is.
Cuban by descent, right? Cuban Marco Rubio?
Yes, I think that's
so.
right. Yes.
Raj, okay, it was we took a little break there. Good to have you back again. So let's finish up. I'd love to hear more about Haiti. You're working with soon to be president of Haiti, the prime minister of Haiti, Dr. Raymond Pierre.
Yes. God willing, the United States of America should endorse him and promote him to host democratic elections in the country of Haiti to service the people and take it out of its sort of, disparaging place where it is. Why should we care about Haiti? How does it become relevant to both the Haitians and the American population? Here's a little mnemonic I'm going to give you, all right? This is how I studied. COD, LLC.
Okay.
All right, COD. Think of it like cash on delivery, and LLC is a company.
Yeah.
So C, the first letter, cash. The United States of America has pumped millions and billions of dollars into Haiti.
Yes.
And some of that has gone through a level of misdistribution and corruption.
Sure.
That is taxpayer money. If we're spending money abroad, it needs to be accountable. We don't want that to happen any further, as we've seen, as we've dispensed it to other countries. So it's relevant to us. This is money that comes out of your hard-earned pocket every day. O, oil, coal, gold.
They have oil?
Bauxite, tobacco, rice, coffee. They have the resources in Haiti, which makes them potentially prosperous. In 2010, they went through a tragic earthquake. 220,000 people died.
Wow.
In 2016, there was another earthquake and so many died. In those moments, and then there was a hurricane in between those times.
Yes.
Hurricane Matthew. The land spewed out many of these minerals. There are other countries right now in Haiti prostituting the soil of that country because of the gifts that it holds. So that's another reason for us to pay attention to
brought out
Haiti.
The minerals. They could,
when the ground breaks, when the ground churns. Yes, it's been there for a long time.
There's oil in Haiti.
There's all kinds of things in Haiti.
I mean, like they could be a substantial oil producer.
That I'm not sure of. They do provide a lot of apparel and textiles to us.
For sure.
We use a lot of their labor. So, the goods that we wear in the United States of America are even coming from Haiti.
I know call centers are big on the island.
Right.
So,
right. Yep. Yes. Because labor costs are different. Correct. Correct. So there's your C, there's your O out of the mnemonic, and D, drugs. Drug trafficking and human trafficking are running through Haiti. We have attacked Venezuela for that. We've talked about it with Cuba. Fentanyl is destroying our youth and our population at large in the United States. So drug trafficking and human trafficking, right? Sex trafficking
for sure
is also running through Haiti. That bleeds into America. So this becomes relevant to us. Okay, let's go down that mnemonic, boys and girls. LLC. The first L, location, 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 like we talk about in real estate, right? So just like Cuba is a pinnacle zip code or nation near the United States from the standpoint of putting a military base, right? We talk about Venezuela, Cuba, Greenland, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Haiti and the Dominican Republic is also geographically located in a strategic neighborhood for us. So we want to pay attention to that location. We don't want it to become so unruly that these gangs bleed into the Dominican Republic, which share the island or other parts of the Caribbean, and eventually come to the United States, right? So that location is strategic. The next letter, L, life, like I mentioned earlier. The loss of life has been absurdly ridiculous. There are people who are lying dead in the streets sometimes. Gangs are determining who is fed. A lot of food insecurity is there. They'll decide what shop is open. People have to pay mafiosa type fees to have their areas protected. So the people are just raped and pillaged, terribly so, in so many different ways, even though it's such a beautiful nation. I mean, some parts don't have electricity. Some parts don't have Wi-Fi. I mean, these are our first world problems.
Yes.
When my child tells me she's having a bad day, it's because she has no Wi-Fi. How silly we are in comparison, right?
For sure.
And then the last letter of our little mnemonic here, my students for the day, is C. China is trying to move into Haiti as we speak. They've already are negotiating a $5 billion deal to Haiti. Now, remember this. It is easier to keep out another nation before they make ground. Correct. If they make ground into the country, it's going to be much harder from a military and a diplomatic standpoint to get them out of the country. So this is why this is an issue. So COD, LLC are the 6 good reasons why we need to put Haiti on our radar. Marco Rubio, our wonderful congressman, other great leaders, business leaders, community leaders, the people at large should pay attention to this concern because it's eventually going to hit our doors. And with regard to immigration, let me reference that because that I think is very important to the American
Sure.
public. If Haiti is not controlled on some level, people are going to leave the island. And what does that look like? They're
Mhm.
going to come to the United States. They're going
Yes.
to pass through our border on the south, maybe our border on the north. That is also going to be a burden on the taxpayer. And then at the same time, the type of citizen that might come through may not be one that you want living in your neighborhood from a safety standpoint,
Sure.
as we've seen in other incidences. So this is an issue also. The migration in the immigration process could be very deleterious to us.
CODLLC.
Yeah, there you
What
go.
is that? That is
That's my little mnemonic to
a
explain
mnemonic.
6
Okay.
good reasons why Haiti should be important to us.
Mnemonic. It's
Cash, oil, drugs,
drugs,
location,
location, life,
life, China.
China.
There you go.
You know what? Kind of like our
You're
grace.
empowered, my
I
friend.
love it. I am
All right.
empowered. A numeric. I love it. And it makes sense to me. And then of course immigration, which is very real.
Yes, yeah.
Very, very real.
And that's why that location is critical because Florida, the United States, is not so far from Haiti.
No.
We have flights going there from a touristic standpoint, coming out of Miami to Haiti, Dominican Republic, right? So people literally travel there for recreation. So why can't they go in the reverse to seek salvage, right?
Sure.
Safety,
It will happen.
persecution.
It'll definitely happen.
Yeah.
We know
It's
we all
already
know that.
happening.
Yeah, it is actually.
So here's the issue with Haiti at large. Look at it like medicine for a minute.
Sure.
Any person or patient who goes through trauma, right? Could be a car accident, could be something else. They're never going to heal unless they have a rehabilitation stage.
Wow.
And Haiti, since its inception from the 1800s to current, has been pillaged with either, other countries, colonization, trauma from, the forces of Mother Nature, and then just corrupt parties. So it's been trauma after trauma after trauma. And there's never been enough of a stage where there was a rehabilitation.
Mm.
Survival is bent on recovery. Healing cannot come without that. So Haiti has been in an emergency state, almost as a patient, for the longest period of time. So its gifts have not been allowed to come forth. And the power of the country is in its people. And it's overdue. We need to press upon ourselves to really take action with this.
Mm.
Dr. Raymond Pierre is just one of the potential saviors for this cause. So we are behind Haiti, and we're happy to be a part of it.
I love it. The lives you can impact through this,
Yeah.
Getting Dr. Raymond Pierre into office or someone of his
Right.
caliber. How many residents are in Haiti?
The Haitian population, I think, is about 12 million, if I'm not
Wow,
mistaken.
12 million
Right,
people.
Right. Yeah.
You could
We feel very gifted to even be involved as United Doctors America.
Yeah.
We sit with AI firms, tech companies, government agencies, social organizations. We've kind of become like consultants and liaisons in so many different ways because it concerns humanity and healthcare. And being a part of this, I've never helped build a nation, Glenn.
Well,
We could potentially help rehabilitate these people and maybe even create a new healthcare system.
I love
Without
it.
health, everything stops. My mom is going through chemotherapy. I've seen a billionaire on the deathbed. Nobody counts their yachts and their bank accounts and their cars and their mansions when their health and life is compromised. So Haiti is in the same state.
I love it.
So we do have a responsibility to that.
I just had a God download as we're talking, right? God brought us all
Yes.
together for a reason.
Yes.
God just told
Yeah.
me why. At
Yeah.
least, you can bring your message with United
Mhm.
Healthcare Doctors of America. I hope I got that right. To the four corners of the earth
Oh,
through your podcast.
too kind.
It's a true statement. Through the Dr. Raj podcast, talking about the things that matter to you and how you can impact the world. You can change 12 million residents of Haiti, helping
Mhm.
get a better leader in. It's powerful. It's really powerful.
No, thank you. You're right.
Thank you. And
This
I
is
will
God's
say,
work, perhaps, for all of us, because it's a concerted effort. This
It
is
is.
not for one person, one team to do.
as I'm sitting here, Ryan Blair with Alter Call, who's consulting with us, says, you're like on a scavenger hunt from God, Glenn. Sometimes you think you're at an event for this reason, or we were
Yes.
at the Lexus
Yeah,
event,
yeah.
for Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County. But it was to connect us again, but to be here today from a meeting we randomly had.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mario Aguilar, PBD Consulting.
Who would have thunk it? Yeah.
I know, because your podcast will be very successful. It's a lot of hard work, it's exciting to have, 52 episodes a year, 52 guests that you choose. It's super exciting. Let me hear about your ideas for housing. I know that's near and dear to your heart.
Thank you, Glenn. Housing. All right. So why does it become relevant to me?
Yes.
There was a stage in my life that didn't always have everything or didn't know what direction I was going. And I lived in Section 8 and even poverty housing.
Sure.
Gang member lived on my left, a wife beater lived on my right. We became first name basis with police that used to come and visit this apartment complex, and the whole floor used to smell like weed.
Mm.
So,
Before it was legal.
correct.
Yes.
It's still not legal in many places.
Okay.
So that being said, you really learn the culture and the mindset of your neighbors, and you are very much a part and parcel of that.
Sure.
So fast forward, now I'm a proud papa. I have a beautiful daughter who is going to well surpass me, top of her class, just my pride and joy, my antidote, my sunshine. Thank
Love
you.
it.
And so I'm being told now in our gifted America, she may not be able to buy a home in the future. Like that's the stage where we could be going towards, because there's becoming a little bit of a separation of the classes. Housing is becoming unaffordable for so many parties. So again, in our organization, United Doctors of America, something has come across our desk. We are becoming these liaisons, these interfaces in and among different organizations and people for different causes. And at the core, it's healthcare, but larger, there's a little bit of a humanity base to it and even a political semblance. So there's something called the Helper Act.
Okay.
It is a piece of legislation that has recently come across our desk, like I'd like to share. So who are the people who protect your home? Let's call it the firemen and firewomen.
Mhm.
Who are the people who protect you on the streets? Our police. Who is it who protect our children? The teachers. Who are some of the people who protect your health and your life? EMTs and
Mhm.
paramedics. All of these populations that I just delineated have the opportunity of getting a special loan through the FHA system, the
Mm.
Federal Housing Administration, right? We've heard about the FHA
Yeah.
loan for first-time home buyers, where it allows for a lower down payment. Now, there's something called the Helper Act that would take these populations, these good people, the best of America, like I'd like to say, our police, our fire, our teachers, our EMTs and paramedics, right? That healthcare element to it too. It allows those parties to have a loan which would not require any down payment to buy their first home. It would also allow them to have a cheaper mortgage every month, because we're finding this beautiful population, very stressful life. I can relate to it a little bit.
Sure.
And on top of that, housing is becoming more and more out of reach for these young and up and coming family members. And the beauty, I think, of this is that it would solve a lot of problems. We're having a lot more urban sprawl than we used to have in communities. People are living further and further apart from each other in a different way, or everybody's going more towards the concrete jungle, the cities, more than, the outskirts. So it spreads our services for police, fire, teachers, medical, so on and so forth. So on top of that, these professionals, they sometimes have to live 2-3 counties away from the place that they work. There's a great distance because they have to go to a place where they can afford housing.
Sure.
If we had this one remedy for this population, I think this example could permeate into other places of housing. So
Called the Helper Act.
it's called the Helper Act. Yes.
And what would that do if I was, because I think, okay, a doctor, does he really need help with a house? But it's,
Right.
some doctors don't make,
Fair. But this only is strategic to the populations that I outlined: police, fire, teachers, EMTs, and paramedics. So these professions would only be allowed to have this type of a loan to buy a home. Think of like a veteran's loan, a VA loan.
Yes.
Right?
Totally understand.
That has 0% down. Maybe you served in the Army, the Navy, Marines, Air Force, Space Force, so on and so forth, right? So those parties have veterans loans, right? They have that benefit.
Yes.
So this is similar to a VA loan. It has some, parts of its bill, right? Its legislative bill that comes from that population or that base.
This is a huge
FHA.
as you know.
It is. And this is something that's on the docket. We recently got to talk to Congressman Byron Donalds about it, who is going to be the future governor of Florida. He's backed by Trump. Yes, he's a good guy. I've met him a few times. Congressman currently.
Okay, yeah.
From the west coast of Florida, Naples, and he is running for governor. And he has young kids too.
Yes.
Teenage. So eventually they're going to buy their home. And, he lived at a time in his life where he didn't have means also. poverty and all that. And then he struggled at a certain stage of his life, also having a 2-bedroom apartment. So
Sure.
we look at all these people on TV and we think that they're living in the ivory tower and they've had
Yeah.
a, silver plated life. That's not always
Yeah.
the
They're
case.
not the son ofs, so to speak.
Right.
Self-made.
Right. Correct. Correct. So he is now joined support for this. Congressman Rutherford has. Senator Rubio, when Mark Rubio was a senator,
Yeah.
he's made videos about this and talked about the Helper Act. So I think it just needs more attention.
So that's
It needs members of Congress and Senate to support it more, and it could really pass then at the legislative level, and then be actually put into practice as a loan option for these subpopulations.
I love it. And that's one of the things you're using United Doctors of America to help
Yes.
get passed through.
Right. So we're talking to some of our political contacts, business contacts, and there's been a lot of support from like sheriff's foundations, teacher groups, right? This is something where people should stand behind it, but there's not enough awareness about it, one, right now, and there's not enough political support at the very moment. So that's why we're pushing this out to get the right attention.
It creates a class system. It's not healthy. I think if you're a police officer on Palm Beach Island, on Jupiter Island, I had a friend that was a police officer almost 20 years on Jupiter Island. He obviously could not afford to live there. He was way outside the area. Raj, it was great having you today. We went over Haiti, housing, wellness, United Doctors of America. I mean, you have a lot going on. And this really segues because you have so many ideas, so much to give to the world, to America. You're truly an American success story. Announcing your new show, the Dr. Raj Show. I always say a beta test. I am 100% sure that God brought you here to do this show. And, with God, anything is possible. Your show is going to be super successful. I know you worked with some great people. Sounds like Eric Trump. And you have a big event coming up for United Doctors of America. Is that in Jupiter?
Okay. Yes. So we have a couple of events, Glenn, and thank you. I appreciate the beautiful and warm welcome. You make me all giddy and excited. I'm holding it all in.
I'm very excited.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bless your heart. Yes. So we have a couple of activities coming up. So one, we are having a comedy night gala where we're going to have a little battle, Democrats and Republicans. It's a comedy show.
Okay.
That is going to be at Trump National.
I love it.
Trump International, excuse me, in Palm Beach.
Okay.
October.
International, just because not all the listeners know, that's the golf course community in Palm Beach.
It is. County. It is one of the Trump family residences. It is the golf resort in Palm Beach, Florida. Correct.
Awesome.
Yes. Trump International.
Trump International. Okay. And what's the date of that?
So that's coming up May 2nd.
May 2nd.
Yes.
Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. Everybody is welcome. All of our events, everybody is welcome. Tickets are going on sale. We're doing a lot of charity behind our work too, but this is meant to be so dress fancy, but come ready to laugh your tail off.
How much are the tickets, just to put it out there?
Sure. Tickets are ranging anywhere from $350 to $700, depending on what you're looking for.
Pretty affordable for an event like that, actually.
Gotcha.
I think it is.
It's an expensive venue, so we have to always keep that in mind. And then we're raising good money for charity. We're supporting St. Jude's medical research.
Okay.
And then we're also doing. I'll share that with you right now.
Please.
I don't know if you've heard about the Red Nose Project.
I have.
There you go.
Oh, I love it.
I just carry them. I know. I told you I got my quirks.
So keep it on. So tell me about the Red Nose Project.
The Red Nose Project is something that I'm near and dear passionate to.
Okay. I mean, I've seen the red nose. I don't know what it represents.
I know.
You don't have to keep that on, but I'm
a silly boy. I'm going to.
Oh,
just because you told me I can't, I will. All right. Okay. So the Red Nose makes for attention. Look what it just did. Yes. You cracked a smile on your beloved face, right? So what is the Red Nose? The Red Nose is a beacon and a symbol to help bring attention to children and families. Think much like the pink ribbon we wear for breast cancer awareness, right? It's a representation of education about breast cancer awareness and supporting those and those around patients and survivors with this sad cancer. So the red nose, in the much same way, is a symbol, a beacon to represent we need to support children and families who are in need. My individual private company and also our group, United Doctors of America, we do a lot of work supporting those children and families in need with medical supplies, time with the kids and families, clothing, food, training for employment. So a lot of work we do in that way. We've given out more than 15,000 noses to date. So it's
your organization.
So there's a Red Nose initiative that started in a different capacity that we support, and then we have our own branch of it. And we're doing this in Haiti. as well,
I love it.
supporting.
I always think Robin Williams with that
Yes,
movie,
that's right.
right?
That's a
Yeah.
different thing. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
this is different than that.
Right.
But it's called Red Nose, and this
It's
is
a Red Nose Project.
project
Right.
tied to the United Doctors of America.
There you go.
Love
Correct.
it. Okay.
Correct.
And
So
I
when
love
we do
Red
these,
Nose Project.
yes. So when we do these, grand galas and all this, we're giving some education about an issue. Like I mentioned in October, we have an
Sure.
event where we're talking about mental health, but then we're also fundraising to support so many communities. I mean, just last year during Thanksgiving, we did 4 turkey drives and gave out hundreds of turkeys and food and other support.
Can I be part?
Yeah.
I want to be part of that. I've been going to Tony Robbins events for many years. I went to some of his week-long events, but he always does where he gives away
Yes.
food during Thanksgiving.
Correct.
And always touched my heart. And I've been asked by people just to ground myself.
Chief, here's your nose.
All right, let's see it. All right,
you
let's
go.
do it. Now I got a little bigger nose than you, my friend. I
Ryan
don't know if it's gonna
Plasty?
fit. Yeah,
All right.
I might have to. Are you plastic surgeon? You know some. All right, how ridiculous. How's it look? All right,
I love it. I love it.
Okay, so this is the Red Nose Project
There we go.
for United Doctors of America, and it helps support children in need. I love it.
Yes.
And you give away turkeys on Thanksgiving, or how does that work?
Just different things throughout the year, but just this past Thanksgiving, we did 4 turkey drives for a lot of indigent families and communities.
I feel absolutely ridiculous.
Good. That's the whole point.
Lynn, I feel
There
ridiculous.
you go.
I
Good
feel
stuff.
I
Good
love
stuff.
it.
You're
Right,
allowed.
but keep going.
You got to be a big kid sometimes, Glenn.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So
So
that's something near and dear. I mean,
Awesome.
last year when school was starting, we gave out backpacks, school supplies, toys to 6,000 underserved children from our organization and piggybacked with a few other groups as well. So we are doing free health cares coming up this year as well, health fairs, excuse me. And we're also doing town halls with some politicians so the general public can come and meet a medical panel of physicians and nurses along with our political leaders and ask questions about healthcare.
Love
We'll
it.
be giving red noses out, of course.
I have to
So
say,
a lot of activities we have in the pipeline.
I love it. Did you have any other charities you want to promote right now? On
We're
Vision and
doing
Voice
something
podcast?
for veterans.
Okay.
We're supporting Tunnels to Towers, but
Oh.
I come from a military family, so veterans are very
Fantastic.
important to me. I've seen them as people in medicine and in the community, so we're doing a lot of efforts to
I'm
support
gonna
our
have to take
veterans.
this off because I can't read my
Okay,
paper.
all right.
So thank you.
Okay,
I'm looking down and going cross-eyed. So veterans, Tunnels to Towers.
That's one of the groups that we're
Okay.
supporting, and then we have our own ways of supporting veterans as well. So we do a lot of work with the homeless. Sometimes veterans have mental health issues. There's a little bit of homelessness, a need for gainful employment. So we have a lot of initiatives to support them as well.
I love it. I think this has been a great first podcast.
Good.
You're a natural on camera. You're going to do so well.
It's in my coffee. Don't tell anyone.
No, I
All
can
right.
see it. And, I know God brought us together for a reason, and I see it now. It's to have you have your own show, help us scale up My Living Media, and love to have you part of this collaboration with you. It's exciting.